PPC advertising has been around for a while now and has established itself as the primary model for advertising on the web. Of course, PPC advertising is pay-per-click advertising, which basically means that you pay only as an advertiser when someone actually clicks on your ad. This is different from paying for a fixed spot in a magazine or on a website because you only pay when your ad generates views. For the advertiser, this is a very good deal because it essentially means that you only pay when you're successful. An advert that sits on a website not attracting any clicks will actually cost you nothing. And you'll be able to ensure that you get a very high ROI, return on investment. This is even more true if you use CPA advertising, which in many ways is a natural evolution of PPC. CPA actually stands for cost per action, or cost per acquisition. In this sense, you only pay for an ad that converts, giving you guaranteed returns on that investment. Well, in reality, you'll still sometimes pay per click, but even then, CPA gives you a figure for how much each action is costing you, allowing you to calculate your precise profit margin. This is the metric that every advertiser should be most interested in. Essentially, this is the point at which the ad becomes profitable. And if you only pay for that, then you have a situation where everyone is guaranteed to win. CPA is a relatively new form of PPC, but it's one that's rapidly catching on for obvious reasons. If you want to evolve your current marketing campaign in a way that can only improve your ROI, and you want to get one step ahead of the competition, then this is something you should be learning. And if that's your plan, then you've come to the right place. This video series will serve as your masterclass in CPA marketing, and will show you how to get set up, how to stack the cards in your favor, and how to scale up your operation for gigantic profits. So, buckle up and let's take a dive into the complex world of CPA marketing. And we'll start in the next video. We've already touched very briefly on the concept of CPA marketing, but what does this term mean in detail? To start with, let's ask the simple question. What is an action? What is an acquisition? Another term that can be used synonymously with these two is conversion. And if you've ever heard of a call to action, then this basically describes the same thing. A call to action is a call to do the thing you want your audience to do, which in the vast majority of cases is to buy a product or sign up to a mailing list. So with CPA marketing, you would first set up your goal or your action, and then you would set up tracking so that you only paid when that thing happened. So for instance, if someone were to click on your advert, get taken to your website, and then buy your product, you would get charged. But if they were to click on your advert and then leave, you wouldn't get charged anything at all. As you might imagine, this is a rather positive situation for you as an advertiser. You see, a click on its own does not guarantee any value for you. If someone clicks on your PPC advert, goes to your website and then is unimpressed with your products and services on offer, you'll have paid for that click and received nothing in return. On the other hand though, if you're only paying for each action, then you will be earning money for every time someone clicks on the advert. So if you can work out that you get $20 for every purchase of your ebook and you're only paying $1 for your CPA, then you know that every click on your advert will earn you $19. This works very well for you because you know you're getting money out of your advertising campaign, and it works very well from the advertiser who's getting paid for your business. Now, here's the thing. CPA marketing doesn't always mean that you pay only when someone buys your product. In fact, that's relatively rare. Instead, with CPA, you will still normally pay per click. That's what makes this, still a form of PPC advertising, other than the simple fact that the two are very similar and it's convenient to describe them with the same term. So if you're paying per click, how is that CPA at all? Well, basically, the advertising platform will give you the ability to break down the information and to see when you're actually gaining an acquisition. What this means is you can look at the percentage of clicks that are resulting in an acquisition, and you can see what you're paying for each of those clicks. So if you're paying $1 for every 100 clicks, and 1 in every 400 people buys your product, then you know that you have a cost per action of $4. Is this a concrete and reliable number? While you might worry that this figure is based purely on trends, for any big business that's going to be good enough. If you're getting thousands of clicks a day, and the average is calculated on that data, then it is almost always going to hold true. Sure, you'll sometimes see a little deviation from this average as the cost goes up and down, but overall it's going to even out over the long term. This is in fact just the same way that a casino works. They play the odds, but because those odds are on such a large scale and they are slightly tipped in favor of the house, they can still accurately predict their revenue. So now you may be wondering how CPA would work. What is this black magic that allows an advertiser to know whether or not someone has bought your product after leaving your website? And the answer to that is they can use cookies to track the user along with a small line of code normally on the website in question. A cookie is a small file that can be stored on a user's computer via the browser. This allows a website or app to identify that user and to show them their preferences. Cookies are what allow you to automatically stay logged into Facebook, for instance. And cookies are also the reason that the adverts that show up in the sidebar on Google are eerily close to all of the things you're interested in. Been looking at holidays? Then a cookie will be stored by that website and they will work with their advertising partners to show you hotel and flight adverts. In the case of CPA, a cookie is used to look at the person who's clicking on your advert. Then, if the user with that identifying information should also try to buy a product on your website, they will have been tracked and the information will be fed back to the advertising platform. In a scenario where you only paid for each acquisition, you would then pay for those clicks only. More likely, the information will be fed back to your overall metrics along with those clicks that didn't yield a result, and you could then use this to calculate your CPA. So, who are the advertisers and publishers? Who earns from all of this? We'll look at the different CPA providers, called platforms, in detail a bit later on, but for now suffice to say that the platforms tend to be run by really big companies and websites such as Google and Facebook. If you use CPA through Google or Facebook, then your advert will be likely to appear on Google or Facebook respectively. In this case, of course, that company will be paid for each click. In other cases, it's possible to use CPA marketing across multiple websites. Google AdWords is Google's advertising platform that shows ads right on its search engines. But Google AdSense is a platform that shows adverts on the websites of participating publishers. So for instance, if you're someone who is selling a protein shake, you can use Google AdSense to have your adverts appear on websites about fitness. When you pay for your clicks or acquisitions, that money will then go to Google and the publisher. When paying only for your acquisitions or leads rather than per click, you may need to know what scrubbing and shaving means. Scrubbing means that advertisers, in other words you, don't have to pay for invalid or duplicate leads. So if you're paying for every person who signs up for your newsletter, then scrubbing means looking for instances where the same person has signed up twice or where they've signed up with a fake email. You then need to go back and not pay for that data. Likewise, if someone were to buy your product but their card was declined, you would then need to scrub that data to ensure that you are really only paying for each acquisition. And here is where things can sometimes get a little complicated. Meanwhile, shaving means that the advertiser is trying to be more selective about their leads and scrubbing leads that should be valid. This, of course, is unfair to the publishers. In the next video, we'll talk about CPA versus other forms of marketing.